There we go. Looks like we are back on. Was there any action to be taken out of closed session?
There is no action from closed session.
All right, we will now go back to our consent agenda. Items that were pulled. First is 5.4, approve request to waive 900-hour limit for animal control extra help employees Leila Hallman and Caitlin Rosales.
Small.
All right, and so we just had to fix the memo or something like that?
Yeah, it didn't save, so the memo wasn't on I posted it yesterday.
Oh,
but I
okay.
pulled it just so that everybody's aware that it's there now.
Oh, okay, so there's the fix. If you're watching from Zoom, you can see the memo, and it has been updated, I'm pretty sure, online now, so. All right, so I'll open it up to the public. If there's anyone that would like to speak on this, bring it back to the board for action.
Chair, I move to approve the request to waive 900-hour limit for animal control extra help employees Leila Hallman and Caitlin Rosales.
Second.
Ooh, I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. I'll move on to 7.2, consideration of a letter of support for the City of Clear Lake's Lakeshore Drive Safety Enhancement Project, Safe Streets and Roads for All, SS4A Implementation Grant. Supervisor Sabatier and Supervisor Owen.
I'll keep this brief. Both of us are sponsoring this since we both have our districts within or in the city of Clear Lake. They're working on Lakeshore Drive. They're looking for any kind of letters of support in order to support their continuation of fixing their streets and upgrading their infrastructure. And this letter is here for our support in order to put it in their packet. And then their packet is due the 13th. And so if it's possible to get it back to them tomorrow so they can put it in there, that would be great.
And I second that.
All right. Are there any other questions? I'll open it up to the public. Is there anyone from the public that would like to comment on this? No one on Zoom? All right, I'll bring it back to the board for action.
Sidewalks downtown. Move to approve the letter of support for the City of Clear Lake's grant application
I second.
and authorize the chair to sign. I felt that.
All right, so we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? And that motion carries. Are we good to go for that one, or should I go to a different one? I'll go to a different one, so should I? I'm going to read off the other ones that we're not going to be doing.
Yes.
Okay,
And then open for public comment and
yeah,
to be moved to
all right. So-
date, time uncertain.
Got it. 7.3, consideration and discussion of the Public Defender Oversight Committee membership, and B, consideration of appointment of committee members. This will be moved to more than likely next week, but if not, it might be another, to be determined, right? All right. So with that, I'm going to open it up to the public if there's anyone that would like to comment on 7.3. I'll bring it back to the board, and we will do this another day. Closing that item, I'll read off 7.4, consideration of letter of support and authorization to submit Proposition 47 Cohort 5 grant application. It's from Behavioral Health Services and Probation, and this also will be pulled to a later date. I'll open it up to the public for anyone to speak on behalf of 7.4. I'll bring it back to the board for, to close this item and bring it back at a later date. 7.6, consideration of change order number 1 to the construction contract with Weeks Drilling and Pump Company for the Spring Valley test wells in the amount of $133,400 and authorize the administrator to sign the contracts. This is special districts. Looks like we'll be bringing this back at a later date as well. Any other questions? And I will open it up to the public for anyone that has a comment or would like to. All right, I'll bring it back to the board, and we will bring this out at another date as well. 7.7, consideration of resolution granting authority to waive transient occupancy tax interest and penalties on appeal by an operator. This is sponsored by Treasurer Tax Collector. This will be coming back at a later date as well, so I'll go ahead and open it up to the public for anyone to comment on this. So I don't have any comments. I'll bring it back to the board, and we will do this at another date as well. 5.6, behavioral health, and this one is approve amendment number 1, to the agreement between the County of Lake and Fremont Hospital for acute inpatient psychiatric hospital services and professional services associated with acute inpatient psychiatric hospitalization for fiscal year 24-25 to increase total compensation by $100,000 for a new contract,
Contract.
well, it says contact, so a contract maximum of $200,000 and authorize the chair to sign. Behavioral services, health services, and we'll open it up to the public for any comments about this being moved to a later date. And I'll bring it back to the board, and we will also have this brought back at a later date. That concludes those. I will go back to
7.5.
7.5, okay, let's read that one off, and I think we have the Public Works Director here to, all right, here we go. Consideration of a resolution adopting a list of projects for fiscal year 25-26 funded by SB1, the Road Repair and Accountability Act of 2017, and short-term pavement rehabilitation and infrastructure plan. Public Works Director Glenn March. All right, floor is yours.
Good afternoon, Supervisor, Chair Crandall, and members of the board of supervisors. Today, what you're considering is the list of projects to utilize SB1 funding. Those projects are shown in the attachment, and the approach to identifying those projects have been described in the board memo. The projects fall into three categories. One is addressing the poor pavement conditions of our arterial roads, which is the Nice Lucerne Cutoff as well as Bottle Rock Road. The second category is to address the roads within communities with the lowest PCI index. And those two projects are roads in Nice as well as roads in Lucerne. Roads in Lucerne also will include some safety improvements to minimize the accidents on State Route 20 as well as Country Club Drive. The third category is bridges that are either out of service, which are two, and those short span bridges that are have a temporary bridge on top of them. So the bridge decks have failed. There's a temporary bridge that spans over the top of the existing bridge and creek. So we can get those back in shape.
Any questions from the board? I think Supervisor Sabatier?
Yeah, just real quick, I don't want to do this today, but I know there's an and to 7.5 and hoping that there's a chance in the near future for you to come back to speak to the public, not just for them to read and for us to read through the short-term pavement rehabilitation infrastructure plan, since today we're short on time. Just hoping that we can continue that at a later date too.
Continue this item, or?
No, the and part, the short-term pavement rehabilitation infrastructure. Today, we're just
Oh, okay,
approving the
okay.
SB1 project list.
Okay,
But
got
just
it.
wanted to say, would love to get further information, make sure the public's aware so that we can get their input as well.
Got it.
And
Oh,
today
infrastructure
we're in a
plan.
rush.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for breaking that down for me. I'll open it up to the public, if there's anyone that would like to comment on this.
Well, I guess, good afternoon. It's been a long day. I want to just point out that I support a lot of the things that we're seeing now in DPW. I like the fact that we have a strategic plan to deal with roads on a systematic level. I think that's the right thing to do. I also appreciate getting the funding that Mr. Marsh is working on. I also think the systematic effort to maintain the roads and improve the overall quality and ultimately reduce the expense to the county. You can either do it right and save money in the long run, or you can try to do it right away and have to go back and fix it again. So trying to elevate the level of quality in the roads and make them last longer, I think, is more of a cost-effective approach. So I do support that. The one concern I have is We need to have a better conversation on road safety. The PCI index is important. You get more pavement, that's really great. But as I think we all know, we all have our road in our districts or multiple roads in our districts that categorically aren't safe. And the list is long, and I think there's a way forward. Director Marsh needs to do what he needs to do in a systematic manner, but there's, in some cases, clear and present danger to get roads fixed. So what I would ask the board to consider so that he can do what he needs to do in the way he needs to do it is to consider where appropriate emergency ordinances that would say, yeah, let's get that stop sign in, or let's get that speed limit sign in. Let's, whatever the crosswalk or what have you, so that do that through an emergency ordinance. When his team is able to get around to do the proper engineering and research and design, then either that safety feature can be removed or modified or eliminated. But in the meantime, we do have accidents. We do have people that are jumping out of the way, people getting cut off, and these are real issues. The TIMS database that was promoted throughout the various advisory councils is frankly not reliable. It only articulates accidents that had a fatality or major injury, but not major collision, or there's a lot of deficiencies, and it's not a statistical blip. So for example, our beloved notorious High Valley Road, which Mr. Marsh I'm sure gets a plethora of information on, if you go there, Tim says there's only like 3 accidents in the last 10 years. But if you go to CHP and do a PRA request on the same road, it's over 30. So it's a very big difference. So I know my time's up, but I just encourage us to somehow factor in safety. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, Chair Crandall, Vice Chair Rasmussen, and Supervisors, Margot Kambara. I understand the challenge Public Works Director March faces. Needs outstrip resources. I appreciate his attempt to take a systematic approach. I have 2 points to make about this agenda item. First, the main criteria for projects in the short-term short-term pavement rehabilitation and infrastructure work plan are PCI, or Pavement Condition Index, and funding sources. Safety is not a factor in the Pavement Condition Index. With respect, I suggest that short-term pavement rehabilitation and infrastructure work plan be reconsidered with road safety as a heavily weighted criterion. Some road safety issues can't be fixed by repavement. Secondly, road safety worries many in the community. At the May 22nd Planning Commission hearing for Poverty Flats Ranch's major use permit, planning commissioners expressed deep concern about the safety of High Valley Road, the access road for the Poverty Flats project. The commissioners considered sending a message on road safety through its decision on Poverty Flats permit. In response, Lake County Community Development Department Director Turner stated, quote, "The Public Works Director is going to present an updated road management plan, 5-year plan, to the board within the next couple of weeks or sometime in June. So conditions of a road is an ongoing concern and is always in front of the Board of Supervisors regarding how to most effectively allocate the existing funding to maintain and repair roads. I don't think that the Planning Commission denying this project as a way to send a message to the board would be news to them," end quote. Sadly, we learned that the short-term pavement rehabilitation and infrastructure work plan does not address road safety issues as Director Turner suggested to the Planning Commission. This underscores the need to prioritize safety for county roads. If not in the short-term pavement rehabilitation and infrastructure work plan, then in another plan as a top priority. There are many county roads that are not paved. There are many county roads which are one way in and one way out. As part of our shared disaster preparedness, let's make safe roads in Lake County a priority. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
If I can add, next, on the 17th, I'll be bringing a letter of support for the Department of Public Works application for a Safe Streets and Roads for All planning grant. And it will identify, the board memorandum will identify the corridors we'll be looking at, as well as other items, safety items we'll be looking at if we're awarded the grant.
Any other public comment? We'll close public comment and bring it back to the board. Any further discussion or action?
I'll offer a resolution.
Resolution's been offered.
Supervisor Owen,
Aye.
Supervisor Sabatier,
Aye.
Supervisor Rasmussen,
Aye.
Supervisor Pyska,
Yes.
and Supervisor Crandall.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. So we are back to 5.11, 511, and that is approve amendment number 2 to the agreement for medical services in Lake County Detention Facility by and between California Forensic Medical Group Incorporated, CFM&G, and the County of Lake for an increase of 6.5% and a new base sum of $4,401,513.50 for the period of January 1st, 2025 through December 31st, 2025, and authorize the chair to sign. Health Services Director Anthony Arden, you have the floor.
Good evening. Usually I'm just saying good morning. Yes, this is it not on? There we go. Okay. Okay. Good evening. Yes, Stephen and I started work on this amendment back in December. I feel like it's been a long time in progress. We need to go ahead and get this approved. The initial request came in around 10%. Stephen, Casey, and I got to work on trying to get that down to 6.5, which is what we have before you today. We need your approval for this so we can make the payments. We're about 4 or 5 months behind on the payments to WellPath, so we need to move forward and get this done before the end of the fiscal year. I open it up to comments.
Supervisor Sabatier?
So the reason for pulling this, number one, it's a big ticket item. I didn't feel it needed to continue to be in, and I did not expect this meeting to go as long, but did not feel it needed to be on consent, needed to be discussed. I think 6.5% on such a large number is already a lot to ask for, especially when you look at the past 10 years and how much it has increased overall. I know that I have been a part of the, don't ask me what it stands for, but the MAC quarterly meeting, where basically we get quarterly data regarding the jail medical. I would like to see if there's consensus to bring something back to the board to add that to our committees. I think that one Board of Supervisors should always be paying attention to what's happening in our jail medical. I think it's really important. I happened to be there because I shared interests and they started inviting me. And so I just would like to see if we can formalize that, if there's approval or consent from the board to do so and bring it back at a later time to make it happen. And the other one is that CalAIM is one of the big changes that we've slowly been trying to engage in. And I know it still talks about getting people signed up for their Medi-Cal towards their latter part of their stay. But what's known as 70% or more of those, of the inmates in our jail are pretrial, meaning we don't know if they're going to be dismissed today, we don't know if they're going to get bailed today, and it's hard to suddenly jump and go through the application process. And I would like to make a request and maybe just ask Director Arden to take this request to Medical Services to see if we can do that right away as soon as they enter jail, get them signed up for Medi-Cal, deactivate it, and then reactivate it when they leave, rather than waiting to see if we can comply with the discharge parameters, because people are falling through the cracks, and we want to make sure that inmates being released from jail are hitting the softest landing possible to be able to succeed in their endeavors to go back into normal life. So those are my comments. I just wanted to make sure and pull it, talk about it, and provide those comments.
Anything to add to that? Or?
Yeah, no, I will 100% take that to our group. Yeah, I think it's important to make sure that we're looking at all avenues possible to ensure that we have good quality health for our inmates. And even those who are just short-term visitors. So I will bring that to them. In terms of CalAIM, you're right, it is a slow implementation. Lisa and I just sent out invites to start the committee up in July, with implementation timeline going to October 26th. So we should be on schedule for that. And then in terms of the contract, I hear you. I get that it's a rock and a hard place. Part of this is contractual inflation adjustment, and then the other part of it is, they're providing medical services. And as we know, cost of LVNs, RNs, doctors are all going through the roof, as well as administrative challenges, regulatory changes, and things like that. So that's part of the other reason for the additional 2%. And, we can sit there and try to fight that and keep our costs down, but it's just going to impact the other end, which is the quality of services, unfortunately. So not a fun issue to be on, but we're doing the best that we can from health services in ensuring that they are providing quality care. We're in my second year now, and I've seen much improvement from myself and our team in doing the audit review for the jail medical inspections, and we just passed a policy internally to make sure that we do that in a timely manner every single year, and we have monthly meetings set up with their administrators as well to ensure that those are happening. So we're making all the improvements that we can, and I promised you during my board eval that I would ramp up my knowledge of this because this is an area of weakness for me, so I'm getting on it.
All right, so I'm going to open it up to the public real fast. Is there anyone on Zoom? Stephen, you're the only one in. I didn't know if you wanted to add. All right, no, bring it back in. I know that you asked for a consensus. I'm not sure if you have that. Do we have a consensus for the?
I'm fine with that.
Everyone seems to be fine with what the consensus, so.
I will work with admin to put that on our, any future agenda where it's appropriate to place it.
The approval of the 6.5, is that the?
No, making it official for a Board of Supervisors to be appointed.
Yeah, absolutely. We definitely welcome that.
No, I
I mean,
think
it's pretty much been happening anyway, so.
I like
It's
that.
next week.
Huh?
I
I'm
like it.
teasing.
That's
Yeah.
a good idea.
Cool, yes.
And you're doing a great job.
Strike what I said.
I'm doing my best. I'm not perfect, but
And Mr. Chair, if there's no further comments, I move to approve amendment number 2 to the agreement for medical services in Lake County Detention Facility by and between California Forensic Medical Group, Inc. and the County of Lake for an increase of 6.5% and a new base sum of $4,401,513.50 for the period of January 1st, 2025 through December 31st, 2025, and authorize the chair to sign.
I second that.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? And that motion carries. Thank you very much.
go Giants.
Go Giants. There you go. We'll go ahead. That concludes every other item except for our calendars, and I'm just going to go ahead and start off, and then whoever wants to go next can go next. Tomorrow I have a call with Army Corps, and then I'll also be, we have another meeting that we planned a while back to discuss with SLR about Pillsbury with the team. And then Thursday I have a discussion with CBDG about some assistance for some of the senior centers, and then we have the AAA also on Thursday, and then Friday I'll be going out to Lake Pillsbury to do a swear-in for one of the new board members out there. Monday, of course, my CAO meeting, and then also the Risk Reduction Authority meeting, and then also back here Tuesday for our Board of Supervisors meeting. All right, whoever wants to go next. Bye.
I'll go. Last week I did a lot of stuff with the schools graduating, barbecue for the Clear Lake High senior class and parade. I was fortunate to hand out scholarships at both those high schools, several of them. What I was impressed about is the amount of local money that was given out. For example, $136,000 in Kelseyville just from local sources. So that was impressive. I also spoke at the wine grape growers event on what the county's doing for agriculture last week. Went to a West Side Community Park meeting. I'm arranging the speakers for the judges' breakfast in Clear Lake this month. Had Northern Rural Energy last week. We'll have the Land Trust this week. Did the COC meeting. My monthly meeting with City Manager. I attended the Eli Stage Historical Society Carriage House fundraisers, 100 people there, so that was a good showing. I'll have APC LTA meetings tomorrow, and then with Supervisor Pyska over to Big Valley Advisory Committee. Also, County Council will be there doing Brown Act training, thank you. Space Committee meeting this Thursday. I'm also going to go to the Animal Control Advisory Board to help get that up to speed. And again, County Council will be helping us with Brown Act training there. Also have behavioral health meeting, advisory meeting Thursday, another fundraiser community event in Kelseyville on Thursday night. And then I'll be putting the flags out on Main Street, Lakeport for Flag Day. And then lastly, we were notified that as a Blue Ribbon Committee member, that the revised budget has $0 for any projects that were approved for the lake or for the Blue Ribbon in 23 and 24.
Zero Prop fund.
Zero. Well, that's a different story that's getting figured out now because Prop 4 is new. But for what was approved for 23 and 24 that hadn't been funded, that money's been removed. There's nothing there.
All right, I'll go. I just have a couple highlights from last week. I attended virtually the Wildfire and Forest Health Task Force meeting. I decided not to go to Sacramento, so I just stayed home. One of the things that we've been hearing in the modeling from CAL FIRE, and I did share it at a meeting last week, but the herbaceous fuel load on the land right now, because of 3 successive really wet winters, and where we are now is we have 4 times the fuel load that we would normally have, and it's the second highest in the last 30 years. So when Chief Tyler, who's the CAL FIRE director, gave his update at the task force meeting Friday morning, he was very concerned. So we just, the season is upon us. We do know it's an early and active fire season. There's already been more fires this season than normal. So it's just a reminder that we have to stay vigilant, and everyone needs to work on their defensible space. So I just wanted to pass that along so you guys are all aware. And then yesterday I went to Santa Rosa for Patty Poppy's road show. She's the CEO of PG&E, climate optimist. She was very optimistic about lots of things. I did get some time to talk with her before the event, but as she is very optimistic about so many things, I did ask during the Q&A. I'm sorry, but I represent constituents in rural counties that are being crushed by high bills, and the EV charging that you're talking about is not going to come to our county for a long time. We don't have the infrastructure yet. And she said that bills are already lower. So I don't know if any of you are feeling that, or your constituents are feeling that, or maybe we'll look over it this summer, but she said that the bills were lower and they were going to keep going lower. So I just want to pass that on.
I'm struggling to keep a straight face.
Yeah. So tomorrow, I know you can't make the APC. Are you making it? Okay. I think I'm not going to be able to. I've got several other things I need to do, including my NACO call and NCO monthly check-in, which already overlap. Big Valley Advisory Committee in the evening. Thursday, Space Committee meeting in the morning, Fire Safe Council meeting, NACO Resilient Communities, and then we have AAA, and then I've got a graduation party for a Kelseyville graduate. Friday, I am doing the commencement address for Kelseyville High School graduation. And then Monday, I have my meeting with CAO Parker and Risk Reduction Authority.
No. You done? You want me to do it? Okay. So there were a few things last week that I didn't get on my calendar, but I'm going to skip over those. It's been pretty busy already this week and going into next week. So yesterday, we'll just start with yesterday. I did a 3-hour tour with Lost his name. Yeah, Lars Ewing. Thank you. And I had it all wrote down, but I can't find it on there. Lars Ewing of Mount Canocti, that was a really cool tour, and did some other tours of other county-owned properties and things looking to the future and projects that they would like to get going. They're kind of in the thought process. I went from there to the Farm Bureau and met with Rebecca Parker there, and we put together, we've had a lot of concerns and issues with predators in Lake County, and they're taking livestock. It's been primarily mountain lions and coyotes, but there's other predators as well. So we put together a reporting, where you can report easy, and we'd like to have the public's input on if they've had issues with the predators and what type of predators, and there's a little questionnaire on there. So we put that together, and it's available online on the Lake County Farm Bureau webpage. Let me see. Last night, or from there, we went to a training for the Lake County Lake County Fire Protection District and CAL FIRE, and they actually came to our place and we did a live animal training. And I'd like to thank Robert Irwin for coming out and Shalina Morado for coming down. And we're going to have a few more meetings as well for law enforcement and the fire personnel when they're dealing with emergencies, whether it be because of accidents on highways and or with in emergencies, emergency evacuations or something, and they're coming across animals. So many of the people that are working in these jobs have not had any time around livestock, large livestock. We focused on sheep last night, and as well as a lot of other do's and don'ts, and the meeting was supposed to be a 2-hour meeting. It ended up being over 3 hours. I think they learned a lot, and I'm looking forward to the next one. It'll be a little bit before we put that together. Let me see. Tomorrow evening, I have the Lake County Chamber Mixer at Hidden Valley Lake at the Greenview Restaurant, and that will be on the Gwinnett Maha project. So if anybody's wanting any information about that, you can still go on. I believe it hasn't closed yet for purchasing your tickets. I believe it's $25 to attend that event. I have the South County South Deal Caltrans meeting coming up on the 12th. And I also have to speak at the math meeting. I have a CTA Ambassador Certificate class in Middletown at the Jazzercise. We have Father's Day on Sunday, and Lake County Farm Bureau Love of the Land dinner at the Diener Ranch on, I believe that's also on Sunday. Thank you.
Supervisor Sabati?
So we all got an email a while ago. I was planning to go this week, but I'm unable to go to the meeting. There was a gentleman by the name of Stephen Ferry, who is the president of the board of the El Dorado Hills CSD, who said some fairly not too kind things about Lake County and a easy to make generalization that we unfortunately hear too often from people who are not from here. And so I was planning to go and invite him to take a tour of Lake County, not share any frustration or anger, but come and visit and get to know us rather than talk about us. But instead, I'm going to reach out to him and have a conversation with him and see again if I can invite him to tour around and see what Lake County is all about, because it's easy to make stereotypes of things you don't know anything about, and what he said was a little demeaning towards us in a public meeting during the CSD. I know we all received that email and looked at it and listened to the meeting, and those words were, I would say, shocking, but unfortunately others feel very free to say some of those similar things as well. So I want to do something about that, and so planning to do that. I am skipping over a whole lot of things of what I plan to do. My schedule has kind of gone away. Tomorrow I'll be at a graduation, so I had to cancel everything. Doing judge's breakfast on Thursday, meeting with Lake County Community Foundations, having a YCCD board meeting, and meeting with a council member on the 13th, and then donating some of my time to help Meals on Wheels to make meals on Friday. Completely forgot that it was Father's Day this weekend. That kind of came around. There was something that you mentioned. I apologize, I can't make it to the SLR meetings. I feel like I've missed a
Hey,
bunch of Lake Pillsbury meetings these days.
You've covered me too, so don't worry about it.
There was something that somebody mentioned that I wanted to say, but I completely forgot, so I'm going to skip it because it's too late.
There is something I just received from Luca. There's going to be a meeting Thursday, June 12th at 9:30, and I just RSVP'd. Congressman Thompson would like to talk to the leaders in California about some of the events that are unfolding in Los Angeles, and so he wants to talk to leaders. I already RSVP'd, so I'll be in on that call. So I don't know if anyone else got it.
Is
I'm
that a
pretty sure.
Zoom?
Yes, I think yeah, I don't know if you got the message or not, but
I didn't get it, but
probably just asking the chairs
chair.
or something like that. Yeah, it's probably just the chairs, yeah.
okay.
So just letting you know, I'll be doing that, and I'll take copious notes so I can report it out next week. Yeah. Even if we're getting out at 9 o'clock.
Okay.
Just teasing. I wanted to see Johanna's reaction on that one. Is there anything else that anyone wants?
I forgot.
Yeah, go ahead.
Bacon Fest is on Sunday. Get your tickets.
On Father's
It is
Day,
on
too?
Father's Day. It's always on
It's
Father's
on
Day.
Father's Day.
Hey,
What is it?
Bacon Fest in
Bacon-
Kelseyville.
it's good. I mean,
It's fun.
bacon's good.
Yeah.
It's
It's
good.
$40 for a ticket, and all the restaurants make all this different food with bacon in it, and then you can go around and try it all and vote on which one you like. Brad goes.
Yeah, it's a lot of bacon.
Yeah.
I can handle.
There's like bacon
I can
ice
handle some bacon.
cream,
Oh, my goodness.
bacon desserts. It's good. It's really fun.
Well, I don't know if we have anything else.
Can't top that.
Yeah, you guys end it with bacon. So anyhow, we'll go ahead and adjourn this meeting. Thank you again for sticking with us if you're still on Zoom. If not, we'll see you next week.